Hey, I'm NoxLumens, and I want to go over the TryHackMe PT1. I took that a few weeks back, and I meant to make a video on it a very long time ago with my thoughts are fresh, but never did. So we'll kind of just go into it. The PT1 is TryHackMe's junior penetration tester certification, and it is um, a multi-day exam where you start off. Well, you don't have to start off this way. You can do you can do either of these three sections at any time. So you have a web app, a network, and an Active Directory section. One, two, three different sections. Um, each of which is kind of connected in a single environment. So you can reach each of the networks just from the single VPN. And to me, this kind of felt like, if you were to start in order from web app and network, then Active Directory, it's kind of like you are, they build upon each other, and you're breaking into a network through their, you know, internet-facing web application. So uh, it was overall. A a lot of fun. It was very, very practical in that, um, you know, you're starting off with a web app and you have a scope and you're writing a report for the web application based on um, OWASP top 10, and you kind of have to put all of the vulnerabilities inside of each of the categories. You're assigning a CVSS score, each of those things, and then you'll move on to the network and then the Active Directory. So I actually started backwards, I guess. I started with Active Directory. I'm most comfortable with web apps, um, web app vulnerabilities, but I've been doing a lot of Active Directory based practice uh, lately, so I really felt like I should just go for it, go through the Active Directory, um, and started there, then went into the network and then the web app after that. So I finished on the web app. Uh, the training that I did, they do have like so if you pay for it, you get 3 months of training, you get an exam, and then you get a retake if you fail. But they have each of these learning paths, and I pulled up a few of them up above. So I didn't go through each of these when I started the exam. A lot of these I had gone through in the past, and there are actually some of this recommended learning that I did not do. That doesn't mean that you should not do them. It's just that I have experience from taking TCM's PJPT, NPT, their 2 web app certifications. I've gone through their SOC training. I've also done the OSCP. So, I've got a lot of like prerequisite skills already, or like just some skills that I've acquired through other training. But I think that something to take into account is that when I was going through those trainings, I actually did a lot of learning on TryHackMe's platform. So a lot of that knowledge did come, through TryHackMe in one way or another. Um, Even if you can see here, what is this path? Cybersecurity 101. I have not gone through each of these, and I don't know. I do think that it's necessary for you to have these foundational concepts, because uh, if you start with a weak foundation, it's really like, I don't know, building on sticks, right? If you put enough weight on the top, it's likely to crumble, and then you're gonna have to start back over trying to build, these foundational concepts with like these your perceived ideas of how things should be based on um, the other experiences that you've gained from more advanced content. So even if you think that this stuff isn't important, I think that you should absolutely go through each of these fundamental courses and trainings to really get a better understanding of these concepts. And we want to be attackers a lot of the time. we want to do offensive security, but defensive security is a part of being a penetration tester, right? You need to know how to um, how to remediate these vulnerabilities that you're finding. You also need to know how to um, bypass detection measures, uh, to even like pull these off. In a lot of these CTFs that we do, they're disabling like firewalls, antivirus. They're disabling Windows Defender. Windows Defender will catch a lot of stuff that you might use in these CTFs just out of the box. Um, but I that wouldn't necessarily worry about that here. Kind of losing the plot. Anyway, uh, I think that the training that they provide is excellent on its own. A lot of it is free already. So you could probably jump into a lot of these paths without even having to pay, right? Um, for the PT1 course, the value that I see in certifications is that they allow me to test the skills that I've learned previously. Um, and specifically with these practical ones, it really makes you feel good about what you are able to accomplish. And something that I think that the PT1 does even better than some other certifications out there is that even if you pass, it gives you feedback. And I think that this is really important to understand is that, you successfully complete a penetration test, you find, um, many vulnerabilities. Maybe you didn't find all of the vulnerabilities. Maybe there's something you could have done better. Maybe your report missed out on, a few things, or maybe you didn't express or explain how something is vulnerable or how to remediate that vulnerability very well, right? So there's always something that you can take away from a penetration test or a CTF or um, any of these like practical courses, even if you do pass them on the first try. And I really like that in with the PT1, it even if you pass, they give you and the AI gives you uh, things that you could have done better, actionable things that you could have done better, and the AI, even grading the exam is pretty contentious. I personally, I want to say that like I didn't like it. I want to say that I didn't like it, but and maybe I wouldn't like it more if I had failed because I found the flags, I wrote the report, I went through it. I assigned the the CVSS score, assigned the like what kind of vulnerability it was, and gave it a label and all of that stuff. Um, and so to me, it felt like I passed, right? Even if you do pass, I just want to reiterate, there's always something that you can improve upon. Um, so I didn't really pass that well, right? Like I think that you have to have, let's see, exam details, right? So you have to have a 750 out of 1,000. We can see here that I passed with a 795. Um, and I'll try to show results at the end. If you don't see results, that's because I had to take them out. Like I'm gonna try and, I don't know. I might have to take them out. I just need to like confirm with TryHackMe if I can actually show the results. Maybe I can show the results page, but like block out some information. I don't know what they're going to like. I don't know. Tell me not to use or like say that it's against DOS. I don't know. I just I'll do my best. If you don't see it at the end, sorry. If you do, then cool. So let's look at it. The exam, you need to score 750 out of 1,000 points. It's 48 hours. That's 48 hours to go through the three different types of pen test, or just the pen test, and then write your report. Um, and I did feel like that was an adequate amount of time. I took a ton of breaks. I like went and I made dinner. I like went for drives to clear my head and just think about what I had seen. Went for walks. I would like day one. I actually didn't start day one until the end of my work shift. I started day one after working 8 hours, which was perfectly fine. But again, I have a lot of prerequisite knowledge. You might want to make sure that you do it on a weekend or something so that you're free. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep beforehand. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep during the middle. Don't like try to power through 48 hours of an exam because when it comes to time to write the report, you don't want to be like foggy, right? Like maybe you have everything written down and remember it, but maybe you're not able to write it, write the report well enough. I guess is basically what I'm trying to say. What else do I think that we should look at? Well, the price is this is 2.99. This is euros. I did get it for free. I got it for free. Because I guess they wanted people that had, taken other exams to take theirs and be able to compare it. And I do, in a way, feel obligated to you to actually tell you about my experience and how I feel about it. And again, I'll just reiterate overall, I think that the training is excellent. I'm not a huge fan of the AI component. And I think that if I would have failed, I would have felt pretty upset about it. I like that the exam environment changes each time. I like that there are going to be different flags, and that way I don't know that it minimizes or entirely eliminates the fact that somebody could cheat, but it does. I do think that in a way it will minimize, hopefully, cheating. And by cheating, I mean if I've completed the course and you try to come to me and ask me for examples or like a direct examples of the certification, I'm probably I won't respond to you most likely, and then I'll probably end up letting TryHackMe know that you're trying to one over on a man because I've had so many people about so many exams, like after I post about completing them, they're trying to come to me and like get examples or like answers or like attack paths like during while they're taking their exam. I understand that like there are gonna be times where you feel stuck and it's gonna feel devastating. I've been there. I want to say that oh yeah, with the PMPT, I failed, did some OSINT, got into the network, and man, it hurt. It hurt how long I took trying to get into the internal network, and I failed, ended up failing. But I took that as a lesson. And decided that like in that moment you start going through all of these, you start having all of these emotions of like I'm not good enough. I couldn't have done this. Maybe I should have done this better. But at some point in time, you need to like realize that it's not really a failure. You're still learning something. You're learning something about yourself and how you think. You're learning about what you could have done better next time. And I think that if you're going to go through this test and you do end up failing your first exam, that you need to realize that it's not the end. You're still going to have that second attempt at this. And what you should really do is try to be introspective and realize that where you can improve. If you can even a little bit, if you could kind of understand like what you were lacking in the moment, then I think that you're going to stand a much better chance on your second attempt. There's always going to be like some level of fear, right? Am I good enough? Am I doing this well? Could I have done this better? What did I do wrong? Am I even capable of being a penetration tester? And a lot of these things are going to kind of be there in the back of your mind, but don't allow them to control you, right? Like fear is pretty powerful emotion, and it can really stop you in your tracks if you don't put it in its place, right? You can do this. It is pretty stressful at first. This is this is absolutely my sixth, seventh. I think this is my seventh exam in total that I've taken. Some of them I've taken twice, took the OSCP twice, took the PMPT twice. I think I may have taken another one of the TCM courses twice. But if you get here and you don't end up passing, don't worry about it. Just realize where you need to improve, and then I believe very much that you'll be able to do it on your next attempt. So maybe we should talk about the AI. Let's see. Is there one of these have to do with AI? Maybe not. Anyway, the AI is going to go through and grade you on each application or each pen test. There are going to be several sections. There's going to be you to labeling the vulnerability. You're going to apply a CVSS score. You're going to apply a summary of the web app NetSec AD pen test in total, right? So there's going to be an overall summary that kind of lumps, the scope, the type of pen test you're performing, who you're performing it for, when you're performing it, the attacks that you found, just like a kind of just a summary of those things. So you're going to have three of those. Again, you're going to have to identify um, what kind of vulnerability it is, apply a calculator to um, get the CVSS score. You're going to have to write a short summary of the vulnerability itself. So you have the overall summary for the pen test, then you have the summary for the vulnerability. Then you have to write a detailed section on the vulnerability, the attack path. That's something that I could have done better. So in the past, in the other exams that I've taken, and I think that they can improve this here. The exams that I've taken in the past, you're taking screenshots, you're applying, you're like actually leading the developer or whatever, the person that's reading the pen test report, you're leading them through an attack chain. Well, here you can't provide them with screenshots. It's not there. There's not like you can't create code blocks. At least I couldn't at the time. I couldn't create like a code block to show, okay, we'll run this step, run this step, run this step. Like you need, I feel like I felt like I needed an itemized list. Basically what I did during my exam, and I think that this is probably why it scored so low, um, is that I didn't, based on like where you had to write the attack path, the directions, instructions for how to perform the attack, it didn't really feel like I could write a list in order of 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, I felt like, okay, I'm talking to AI LLM. If I just describe it enough, then I'll probably be able to pass. And that's what I did. That's actually one of the criticisms that it gave me in the end, is that like maybe I should have done an attack path thing. But overall, it seemed fine. And I really do think that that had a lot to do with the input fields that were there. I just didn't, I don't know, maybe if there was like a code block that I could put some snippets of code in, I would have felt better. I'm gonna try and show the results here. If you don't see them, it's because they didn't like it. So let's open them up. Report. I do it several times, and you see things that you want to improve each time, things you want to add, and still it wasn't good enough, right? Like I feel like I could have added more context. If I could have added pictures and added code blocks that showed my commands, and I feel like I would have had a simpler time. I think that you should absolutely go through one of these as a writing path, um, or like the report, whatever. You should go through it for sure. So you can see what I've got in total. How it was scored: 318 out of 400 on the web app, 283 out of 360 on the network, and 194 out of 240 on the Active Directory. And then you can see the pass mark for each of them. If you don't see this next part, which is me opening up these individual sections, it's because it gave away too much about the exam. But we'll see. So this is the section, and now that I see it, they're absolutely going to want to blur this, block this out, because up at the top, it's a breakdown of the vulnerability that I found, and this would really just give away too much. Maybe we can just show the strengths and weaknesses that it gave. Strengths: your report effectively identified vulnerabilities and provided precise technical details and reducibility of steps, ensuring clear cause and effect demonstration. Right, so impact is always really important to show. Like when you're writing your report, you don't want to just show like, the vulnerability, say like we located cross-site request forgery through the application, or we located a cross-site scripting vulnerability in the application, and just leave it at that. Like you want to, try to add some impact to it. Like what were you able to do with that cross-site scripting vulnerability? Did you steal cookies? Were you able to force the user to perform other actions like resetting their password, or editing their name or profile picture? Like what were you able to do? What was the impact? Were you able to gain access to an admin board or something, admin only page, where you're able to bypass other forms of authentication, other authentication checks, authorization checks. You align two, you accurately align each vulnerability with the OWASP top 10 standards, demonstrating rigorous adherence to acknowledged security frameworks. And three, mitigations such as input sanitization and block listing demonstrated in uh, understanding of defense in depth, aligning with industry standards. And then areas of improvement, enhance the business context in your summaries, linking vulnerabilities to potential operational impacts and financial risks. Improve remediation recommendations by focusing on specific vulnerability context, ensuring detailed and actionable defensive strategies, and then maintain consistent professional terminology, expanding on relevant technical details to clarify the implication of each vulnerability further. So as you can see, even though I went through the exam, it's still giving me feedback on what I did well and what I did not do well. And I think that this is really important. I hope that other um, certifications implement this. I really, really would have liked more information on every single practical certification that I've done. And I think that TryHackMe, even if it's not a person, this is like a general, um, well, I guess it's really specific advice based on hopefully thousands or tens of thousands of reports, I hope. 'Cause the more it sees, the more likely it is to take that data and strengthen like its understanding of what a pass actually is. And I think that that's kind of what some of this might have been. The fact that they allowed so many people to, I think it was like 3,300, they allowed them to take it for free. It's kind of also um, a chance for the AI to learn more, right? To get better at detecting pass fails. And I don't know that this is the case. I do hope, somebody might review these after the fact and identify whether or not it should be a pass fail. Just somebody like to verify it. I don't know that that's happening right now, but I hope that it is. Um, Maybe if somebody's reviewing this from TryHackMe, they can let me know, and then I'll edit it in later on. So let's look at the advice on the network pen test. Things done well, your ability to identify critical vulnerabilities such as, okay, so this is not going to be able to be shown. Expand your report to include comprehensive reconnaissance and post-exploitation phases to illustrate the full scope of potential threats. You effectively utilize references and highlight, okay. I think that's all I can show in this section. Overall, would I recommend the exam? Absolutely. I think that if you're a beginner, that this is a good test of your skills, especially since it encompasses three different types of pen tests. And if you were to do this with something like TCM, you'd have to take the PGPT and the PWPT, or whatever the web app junior is, but like the junior networking and junior web app. And I think that while they are more like they're more focused, and so the exam is longer and more encompassed and is more difficult for their junior, at least based on the vulnerabilities that I received. Um, and even that's kind of subjective, right? Okay, so let's try this again. The PJPT and the PMPT, the PJPT and the PWPT, or whatever. The TCM's junior network and junior web app penetration tests, you have to pay for them separately. And I really do like them. I did both of them. I passed them both. And I think that it's great content. I think that what you learn from the courses are very valuable. And I do think that they, really helped me here along with what, TryHackMe has to teach you. But I like that this gives you you're performing three different types of penetration tests, and I think that that's valuable, and I think that that's one thing that is going to make this valuable as a certification. Again, I'm not really so keen on the AI doing the reporting, I'm not so keen on the AI. I do like how quickly I got back the results. It was literally a minute, maybe 90 seconds of it processing what I had written right after I submitted the report, and it immediately gave me my results and my recommendations on what I could have done better and what I did well. And I do like that. I think that I hope that other certifications take that into account. I hope that some of them, come through and they test this as part of their own QA process, right? I hope that a part of quality assurance with their certifications is going out and seeing the quality of others and then coming back and adjusting their own based on what they like. And what I personally liked about the PT1 and um, the exam, even though it didn't come from a person, it was from AI, I do like that it told me what I could do better and what I did well when compared to others' reports that it had received, right? That is important. It's not general advice. It's based on uh, what it is told makes a good report, and then the reports that it has seen in the past. Um, it gives you feedback based on that. And I really like that. I do hope that other certifications take this into account and just add it into their own. I think that right now they are lacking in that area. Um, but overall, I enjoyed the PT1. I do think that it's good training. I think that it's good if you want to test your skills. I have no idea if it's going to help you get a job. It's probably not going to help you get a job right now. This is definitely a certification for you. Okay. Um, I think that, if you kind of want to know where you stand in the realm of like, could I be a penetration tester? Could I do this? Then this is a great place to start. It is not the thing that's going to get you over the edge. It's not going to put you into that role. You're going to have to spend more time and practice more uh, and do a lot of other things before you actually make that climb. Most likely, at least that's my own experience. I'm not a penetration tester. I'm actually a network engineer, and I just happen to do a lot of pen testing and security type work at work because we're a small enough company where a lot of duties bleed over into one another, and I've spent a lot of time building that relationship with my managers and my directors and my executives to allow me to do these types of other types of work. So anyway, I guess that's a little bit about me and the PT1. So yeah, I don't know if you learned anything. I hope it was clear enough that I do like the certification, even though I do think that there are some things that it can improve upon and that I don't like concerning the AI. I do think that the training itself is excellent, and I do think that the environment that it tests it tests you in is excellent and a lot of fun. I love that they're doing this. I love that it's three different types of pen tests, and I had a lot of fun doing it, honestly. It made me feel like really good about the skills that I do have. And I think that it, could probably do the same to you. So, see you in the comments.